Welcome back, Guardians, to another Destiny video, and in this video we are going to be talking about random number generator, or RNG, and what that means for the game, and people who left comments on my video yesterday about the Gjallarhorn that your RNG, you can't earn it in any way, shape or form more so than buying it with strange coins, which to a certain extent is true, but I'm going to give you some stats and such things, and hopefully you can see things on a broader scale. So what is RNG? RNG stands for Random Number Generator, and that is basically a random picking system where loot will drop randomly at random times, like your legendary engram where you kill an enemy. There's a certain amount of random numbers that will hit a legendary engram for it to drop as you kill that enemy, and it's completely random across the entire board for every enemy, for every single situation, and decision in the game is decided by a random lottery, and that is pretty much what random number generator is. And it's the same with loot dropping on such things as nightfalls, raids, etc, etc. I don't know if the raid works exactly the same, but I know it's similar, so don't quote me on that. But that is what a random number generator is. So when you see people saying about, oh, RNG, you can't earn RNG because it's random, it is completely random. So to a certain extent that statement is true, but I'm going to give you a scenario. So I have played this game for 1,600 hours, which equates to about 60 days game time, in game time, give or take a couple of days. I haven't really sat down and worked it out, but it's about 60 days in game time in total. That's 24 hours 60 times. I got the Gjallarhorn probably about 800 to 1,000 hours in. I didn't get it early. It took me a very long time to get it. Well, I did get one early, but I dismantled it when I didn't know how good it was. And then I got one close to when the Dark Below came out. So let's just say about 1,000 hours, give or take. But for the sake of the scenario, we'll just say 1,000 hours until I got my first Gjallarhorn. Have I earned that because it's random? Yes, I have. Of course I have. I have spent 1,000 hours in the game until I got my Gjallarhorn. That means I've grinded it out over and over again, which gives me more chance of that weapon or whatever we're looking for to drop, because the more you put into the game, the more time you play, the more decisions and random loot drops there is being made. So the more you play and the more hours you put in gives you more chance of getting a drop, which means you have earned that drop for 1,000 hours. Now here's the issue. Can you buy it from Xur if it ever shows up in Xur's loot table? Yes, you can, for a certain amount of strange coins. How long does it take you to get those strange coins to buy that? Less than 2 days, 3 days if you run strikes non-stop, get blue engrams and open strange coins. So let's say someone reaches level 30 max and their in-game time is, let's say for argument's sake, 50 hours. Their in-game time is 50 hours. They've just reached max level. They haven't run a raid yet at all. They see that Xur's selling something that someone else who's played it for 1,000 hours wants or has just received. So they go and grind out some strikes for a couple of days and buy that weapon. Now, do they deserve that as much as the person who's put 1,000 hours into the game and been completely unlucky with drops, and they just walk in and buy it when they've been max level for a couple of days? And that's what I mean by earning your drops the legit way, because this game is based around a drop loot system. Xur's just there to offer an extra way for people to get stuff, but that's not what you should rely on. The game is a grind-worthy game. It's you put hours in, you get out of it. And yes, it's frustrating that a lot of people aren't getting the drops that other people are, and I totally understand that. I ran the Vault of Glass normal when it first came out for 20 plus runs before I got a single raid piece armor. I had to run it with my friends, who one of them got all 4 pieces in 2 raids. Another one done it in about 4 raids, and I was the leader of that raid, showing them what to do and teaching them how to raid. I was the one putting all the effort in and leading everyone and learning tactics to employ in the Vault of Glass, watching streamers, watching YouTube videos. I was putting in all that work and effort, and I was getting absolutely nothing in return, and watching people who are casual players who haven't even put in 100 hours into the game since it come out, getting all that stuff, when I had to run it 20 times before getting a single armor piece. So I know what it's like to be frustrated. But the more hours you put in, the more chance you're going to get of a drop, and you have earned that drop. And I'm going to say legit in terms of that's the way the system's supposed to work. It's supposed to get items through drops. So I find the pursuit of getting something frustrating, but a lot more pleasurable when it actually drops than to buy it off Xur. Now the reason why I made the video yesterday was the fact that if the Gjallarhorn came in Zer's inventory and everybody bought it across the board, people who are not that great at PvP, probably put about 2 hours in total into PvP, they buy a Gjallarhorn, they haven't got no other weapons that are exotic, so they can use a Gjallarhorn in thingy, they pick up heavy ammo and they're just firing rockets around killing everybody. Sooner or later, Bungie will have to nerf that. They will have to look at it as everyone's now using the Gjallarhorn, because there's more people in the world with a Gjallarhorn. There's like, what, 10 to 12 million people who play this game. So let's just say he brings Gjallarhorn next week. 8 million people buy a Gjallarhorn. That's potentially 8 million people who are going to use it in Crucible. But that's not the case with most people. People who are professional, like not professional, but have played it for a long time, have their own setups and such things. So let's just say 3 million of those people are people who just have one exotic, the Gjallarhorn. They're going to be using that constantly. You're going to be running into it more often. It's going to be getting people who aren't that great at Crucible a lot of kills. At that point, Bungie's going to have to sit there when everyone jumps onto the forum and moans about it and think, okay, we need to nerf this. Now, whether they nerf it in PvP and PvE is another question, but we just have to wait to see if that happens. But the video I made yesterday was based on the fact that if they did nerf it across the board, then it would ruin the Gjallarhorn. And that's all the video is about. And I was hoping to get some balanced arguments about the Gjallarhorn coming to Zer, but you know, people just did not see past the point of, because I've got a Gjallarhorn, that's why I'm saying it. No, not at all. Afford me some intelligence, please. If I had no Gjallarhorn, I would say the exact same thing. If I had 10 Gjallarhorns, I would say the exact same thing. Because that's what I believe, that's my opinion, and I'm not going to turn my back on my morals and opinions and what I believe just because I have a weapon in a game. You know what I mean? Afford me some credit, please, for crying out loud. And I feel for people who don't have these weapons, I really do, because like I said, I've been through it. I've been through it since I played this game from the start. I actually got to the point in the Vault of Glass where I was going to quit playing this game and never play it again. Because every time I ran the raid, everyone was getting everything else and getting excited. And then because we're close friends, we're having banter and ripping me about not getting it, I got to the point where I didn't want to play this game anymore. So I know exactly what you're going through, so afford me that intelligence, please. But anyway, that's the video done for today. You can earn your RNG the more hours you put into it. In my opinion, you deserve it way more than someone who just walks in after a couple of hours and buys it off Zer, or just gets a random lucky drop. That's the same issue. And yes, it is totally random, but the person who's put more hours in is definitely the person who deserves it more, who has earned it more. And that's just the way life is as well, not just a game, that's just the way life is. So I know this has been a little bit of a long commentary, but yesterday people just got blindsided by the fact that I've got a Gjallarhorn instead of actually listening to what I was saying. So hopefully this has made it a little bit better, but in my opinion it'll probably make it worse, because people are just going to be screaming about the same stuff. But anyway, for all you people who have listened to this and understood this, I respect you all. And if anyone wants to leave a like and some comments and feedback, go ahead. If you want to dislike the video, go ahead. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.